Do you want to learn how to manage your money in a much better way as you're building your online business? What I realized over the last few years is that managing money is so much more important than just making money, because making money, everybody can do it. But once you're able to bring in a system of money management, trust me, the way that you can multiply your money will happen so much more faster than ever. So take your notes, notepads, pens and papers, and let's get into the money management system that's really working for me.
Give it up for TWCGO!
Hi, that's TWCGO here. And for many years before I started to see success in my life, in my business financially, I was not disciplined with money. I used to avoid money, and I used to keep track of my accounts, and I had different perceptions about money. I felt like money was not so important, doing the work is more important. And because of having this sloppy attitude with money, it was reflecting in my bank account. I used to have more month than there's money in the bank account. I used to have a tough time making decisions towards the end of the month, and it was a very, very tough situation. Okay, and only once I started to change my money habits, my money management habits, things started to change for me personally. Okay, now honestly, I'm not a very extravagant spender when it comes to money. I've always been frugal with money, but the point was I never knew how to manage it in the right way. So I learned this principle, which I'm going to share with you, initially from T. Harv Eker. T. Harv Eker has a 6-jar principle where he talks about this in the Millennium Mind Intensive, and even MMI. If you attend MMI, you know about the 6-jar principle. And then later on, I learned a slightly evolved version of this concept from my mentor Vic. When I say evolved, it is not evolved. Pretty much they do the same things, but it is a money management system. Okay, now whatever system works for you, it's fine. But as long as you have a system to manage your money, that's most important. Okay, because systems work and people fail. If people are let on their own, they are bound to fail. So the system, what I'm going to reveal to you right now, is what was given to me by my mentor, who does over $1 million a month. And he is the one who gave me a formula called the TWCGO Formula. And I've adapted this along with Harv Eker's principles. And that's how I've been managing my money for the last 2 years. And I can see the money always compounding because of the right management. So let's go to the first one. See, I want you to understand that you need to be compliant from day one. As a business, if you treat this like a business, it will treat you back like a business. If you treat this like a hobby, it will treat you back like a hobby. So from the moment I started my online business, my venture of selling information products, I set up an entity. In fact, I got my GST number even before I was making 20 lakhs, in total revenues, because that's where the GST kicks in. And I got all of this in place even before I got started, because I wanted to be compliant from day one. Okay. So I found an auditor who helped me with this. I got all the clarity, and I made a system out of it. What the system is, by the 5th of every month, I would pull out all my reports and send it to her, all my statements. By the 10th of every month, the auditor would tell me exactly how much tax I need to pay for that month, the GST. And by the 20th, it'll all go in clockwork. And for me to manage this into a system, I needed to ensure that whatever money that I was making was divided in the right ratios. Okay, and I'm going to be giving you some ratios right now. So the TWCGO formula, what I'm going to reveal to you is this. T stands for tax. You need to have a tax account. And currently what I'm doing is 40% of whatever I make goes towards tax. Now this includes GST and income taxes, income tax component also. Okay. Now I've kept that buffer. 40% of whatever I make just goes into a separate bank account. And that separate bank account is what I call as my tax account. Okay, I have different bank accounts, and 5 different bank accounts I have, and each of these bank accounts are for a particular purpose, and I don't mix that and do any transactions for anything else. So if you're starting off on this journey, maybe you can start off even with 25 or even 30% in tax, because maybe your income tax bracket may not be so high. So right now my income tax bracket is high, so I've moved 40%. But if you're starting off, maybe that 30% is good. So you have the GST component of 80%, plus you have the other income tax component. If you show a lot of expenses, and if you are really having business expenses on all the things that you're doing as far as your tools, your hosting, your domain and everything else, you'll be taxed. Your income tax will kick in only after you pay all of that. Okay. So have a separate account for moving all your tax component. So have a current account for your main business. Whatever comes to current account, you move that into another account. Whatever that 20% to 30%, you can check with your own auditor on what is the best way to do it, and you move that. Second is I have a wealth account. So 10% of whatever I make goes towards a wealth account, 10% of the top line. Okay. So in this wealth account, what do I use it for? Right now I'm using it for investing in gold. I invest in liquid. So I also move money into liquid funds, anything which I'm not going to touch at all, and which is also easily, I can liquidate this later. And whatever investments that I want to make. So, so multiple investment vehicles are there, but 10% of whatever I'm making moves into this account, and I have a dedicated account on this. And from there it goes into the subcategories of the different various investment vehicles. And this principle of paying yourself first is there in all the success books that I've read. Think and Grow Rich, Richest Man in Babylon, Strangest Secret in the World, Law of Success. You just name all the biggest of the big influencers. Even Thou Shall Prosper. There's a book called Thou Shall Prosper by Rabbi Daniel Lapin. It's a beautiful book. It's a big book, long read. But in that book, he goes deep into the principles of wealth creation based on how the Jews in the past used to control a lot of the world's wealth, and how some of the richest people in the world were Jews, and how they approached money making, with a spiritual angle. Wonderful book. So wealth creation wealth account is very important. Okay, and you can move aside 10% of this. The third account is you need to have a charity account. And I love this account because for me, even before I pay myself first, I like to pay charity every month. By the 5th of every month, all the charity is already given. So I made a list of all the charities that I believe in, that I have at least some 5 to 10 different charities that I give on a regular basis, non-negotiable on a monthly basis. And the amount keeps varying from month to month, but it goes to these different charities. So I have a separate bank account only for charity. Whatever I'm swiping from that bank account is only for charity, whether it's food relief, whether it is support, education, temples, and other things that I want to just go and give. I just want to give gifts for people or anybody in the family who needs support and help or anything. I just go and use that account, and only if money is in that account, I give it in the charity. Okay, so that 10% I give towards charity, and you can decide whether you want to do 10% after paying your taxes or you want to do 10% on the top. That's something which you can decide for yourself. Okay, so charity is the giving account, and trust me, if you start including this as a monthly thing, you'll start to see amazing results in your cash flow situation. Don't ask me how it works, but this works. Okay, it works like magic. Next is the third bank account you need to open up is your general account. This is for your household. So I have a separate bank account which is only for my household needs: rent, provisions, groceries, electricity, food, anything to do with running the household will all come under this, and even basic outings and whatever play money, everything comes under this. So under the T. Harv Eker's principle, he's got a play jar and a necessity jar. Now my play and necessity jar are combined into this, which is what I call the general account, bank account. Play also includes like buying toys for the kids and shopping something, or my Netflix subscriptions, my Airtel subscriptions, and anything to run the household will all come under general. So have a separate bank account for this and track this on a monthly basis. And you know what? Even though my income was growing, my general account, my budget never increased. Maybe marginally, but not. I really kept my household operations as it is. Okay. And some of you may or may not know this. I still live in a rented house. I still like to keep my costs very, very low. I'm not too attached to buying homes and stuff like that. I will at some point of time, probably later on, I would be doing that. But I'm not so attached to getting into big loans and paying EMIs and just to show the world that I live in our own house and stuff like that. That whole paradigm is not there. For me, cash flow is king. Okay, and if I can live in a nice place right in the center of town, even if it means paying a little higher rent, that's perfectly cool. Okay, so make decisions in such a way your general account is you're able to keep it minimal. And if you look at India, right, as a country, if anyone is making 2 lakhs per month, I mean, you can live in a great neighborhood, you can take care of all your basic home needs, whatever is required, that's more than enough, provided you do not have any, overheads and EMIs and commitments and loans that you have taken. That's a different thing altogether. But if you're loan free, if you're debt free, 2 lakhs per month, you can live like a king, okay? Even without owning a house. I'm just telling you that. This is my perspective, okay? You may have different perspectives. I'm just giving you my view of this. So having a general account is important for this. Then number 5 is operational account. My operations account is purely dedicated for my business, okay? So here, everything, my tools, my subscriptions, my advertising, what I'm running, whatever I'm paying my freelancers, my vendors, my suppliers, everything, all the transactions go out of this one account only. And I'm able to track everything in one place, okay? And when I'm able to track everything in one place, it becomes so much more easier even for my auditor to do all the calculations on a monthly basis. So operations account, everything is business expenses. Anything to do with the business expense, I only use this account, okay? So this is the formula, TWCGO. What I would like you to do is start to plan this right from this month onwards, okay? Get compliant from day 1, step number 1. 2 is set up your current account to get your entire thing into place, your business into place. Whatever comes from the current account, you can open 5 other accounts. Now those 5 other accounts can either be, like if you're doing a proprietorship firm and if you're going to be connected to your own tax ID or your PAN number, you can have other accounts from other different banks linked to the same thing. But as long as you pull out the reports and have an auditor who can document all of that and file your returns and stuff on a monthly basis, you set up a system in that will really work best. Okay, so for me, all my other 5 accounts, except the business account, my current account, 4 other accounts are all savings accounts. So my tax account, my charity account, my general account, my operations account is a current account. And if you look at wealth account, all that is a savings account. And once it comes to the wealth account, then I move it into other things. I move it into liquid funds, I moved into gold, silver, whatever investments that I want to make, which I feel is right for me at this stage in my life, okay? So what I would suggest that you do is start to get more disciplined with money. And I want to share with you a story. The story is that what I learned in Millennium Mind Intensive is the story of a child, and this child was walking with his father, and they walked towards inside a carnival, and there's an ice cream shop. And the child asks the father, I want the ice cream, I want this ice cream. And the father takes the child to the ice cream and he gives the ice cream to this child. It's a single scoop ice cream. And then the child is holding this ice cream and the father is walking with the child. They start walking on the side, and suddenly what happens is, plop, the ice cream falls down. And the child starts to cry. So like, Dad, I want another ice cream. So the father's like, okay, fine, let's go back. And as the child and the father is moving towards the shop, this kid sees a huge poster of a triple scoop ice cream. And the child is telling Dad, Daddy, I want the triple scoop ice cream. Now, question is, do you think the father is going to give the triple scoop ice cream to this child? No, absolutely no. How can a child handle a triple scoop ice cream if it cannot even handle one? The same applies to money. If you cannot handle the small quantities of money, there is no way that you're going to receive big quantities of money. It's all about discipline. And that's why managing your money is more important than making money. If you're able to handle whatever you have right now and break it into those different 5 segments and manage it in the best possible way, trust me, you will start to make more money. And if you're not disciplined on the smaller things in your life, you can never expect to receive bigger things in your life. There's a huge lesson that I learned through a hard way, if you ask me. For many years I was struggling because I was avoiding money, I was not disciplined, and the minute I started to incorporate a system of money management, things started to change. Okay, now this is the system that's working for me. Now you can take whatever systems works for you, but as long as you have a system where you're breaking it down into these 5 different elements or more elements, that's what works. In the T. Harv Eker's principle, he has a play jar, he has a education jar. So for me, all the education also comes from my business itself. For me, business and education expenses are coming under that. He also has something called long-term savings for spending, LTSS account, which I combine that in my wealth account. So in my wealth, there is FFA and LTSS, financial freedom account, and my LTSS is going into that, and I have a tax account which is separate. So that's how I've been managing my money, and it's working like a dream for me. So if you found this video useful, please share in the comment box below on what are you going to start doing? Are you going to be making that commitment from this moment on to manage your money better? Let me know in the comment box whether you're watching this on YouTube and Facebook, and I would like to personally read your comments and I will respond to you. I'll actually like your comment and I'll give you a love symbol over there if you're watching this on YouTube, okay? So keep watching out for more of my videos. If you want to learn more about how to build a business without any office or employees in knowledge business, please go and check out my formula, sids.co/formula. And you're going to be learning how over 7,000 people are implementing my model to build a super successful knowledge business within 90 days. All the best and keep watching out for my future videos. Bye-bye.